Welcome, listeners. A thought for you to contemplate. What would you give for vengeance? There is a story whispered in places where grief gathers, a ritual that promises balance, retribution, and the chance to make the guilty suffer. But once you invite the avatar into your life, he never truly leaves. In this dark fictional tale, grief becomes a doorway, mirrors become thresholds, and justice demands a price paid in flesh. Some who tempt the ritual gain relief. Others are consumed by it. All are changed, because doors, like mirrors, remember what has stood before them. This is a work of fiction. Please listen with the lights low and be careful what you wish for. If you enjoy psychological horror, atmospheric storytelling, and slow burn dread, you're in the right place. Welcome to Creepy Chronicles for No Sleep Nights. Stay a while, but don't stare too long into the glass. Story written and narrated by No Sleep Scribe. Like what you heard? Subscribe for more original dark fiction. Leave a comment. What part stayed with you? Share with someone who loves unsettling stories. Content note: this story explores themes of grief, vengeance, emotional trauma, and disturbing supernatural imagery. Listener discretion is advised. The Ritual of Vengeance by No Sleep Scribe. Have you ever felt soul-searing hatred, such that you would give anything for vengeance? I mean real hatred, the kind that burns, the kind that hollows you out, the kind where the thought of their death feels merciful. Some say there is a ritual, a story whispered where grief gathers that opens a path to retribution. Until now, this path was hidden. You had to hunt. Dark whispers in darker places, hushed confessions shared where you hide your face and your voice. You had to beg and bleed and bargain. Not anymore. I have listened to those who came back changed. I have compiled what they revealed, gathered what you need to know. I've made it simple. One ritual, one purpose. Punish the guilty by balancing the scales. It is called the Ritual of Vengeance. You don't even need to give the name of the one who harmed you. The person who stole my 5-year-old daughter. The person who murdered my wife and son. The person who framed me and sent me to prison for 9 years. A faceless monster works just as well as a single named soul. But listen carefully. I would give anything cannot be a phrase you merely speak. You must mean it with a cold, unyielding certainty, because this ritual requires sacrifice. Not metaphor, not symbolism. Flesh. Your flesh. And the more you give, the more they suffer. A small gift of flesh ensures death. A greater one brings days, weeks of torment, so profound that your enemy will beg for the mercy they denied. Your life is the ultimate gift. Offer everything, and your enemy will suffer a year of agony for every single day you would have lived before they are finally allowed to collapse into death's waiting arms. This ritual returns your power to you. You decide the weight of the offense. You decide the severity of the penance. You decide what is fair. For the first time since your world shattered, you are no longer powerless. You now direct the allegory written by your pain. Now you know the purpose, the reward, and the price. So let us speak of the method. What do you need in order to complete the ritual? You will need a place devoted to faith, a church, a forest clearing where a coven gathers, a basement with a floor branded with occult symbols, anywhere belief lives, where people glorify their chosen higher power and ask for blessings. Next, several objects of significance. Pillar candles, 3 red and 1 black, a lighter, a full-length mirror, salt, a chalice, a mortar and pestle, a blessed liquid, a single black rose, and certain herbs, agrimony, bay, and hawthorn. There are, of course, also practical considerations. You must be able to enter your chosen space, perform the sacrifice of flesh, and leave afterwards, even if you are significantly weaker than when you arrived. Have arrangements in place. Once you have everything, you are ready to begin preparation. An assistant is allowed for the preparation and the aftermath. However, for the duration of the ritual, you must be alone. No one close enough to see you, no one else within the grounds of your sacred space. This space must first be unclaimed. Places of devotion resist intrusion. The one you seek will not cross a threshold held fast by another. Whether by symbol, word, or gesture, the bond must be broken. A holy emblem turned aside, a sacred mark defaced, a sign of devotion buried beneath something faithless. Desecration need not be loud, only deliberate. When the space has been stripped of allegiance, you will mark a circle of protection with the salt and place the mirror just outside of it. The candles live in the space between you and your reflection. Everything else remains close enough to touch. Beginning at midnight is customary, though not essential. It is simply the hour where even the shadows seem to listen. You will be preparing a draft in the chalice. A small offering of your blood will bind you to the ritual and serve as the base of the draft. While obtaining it, speak softly to your reflection, repeating, "I seek the avatar of vengeance." You must not look away. Once the bottom of the vessel has been stained with your offering, you may proceed. 3 petals from the rose are taken and placed into the mortar. The waiting herbs follow: agrimony, bay, hawthorn. Grind them until they forget they were ever separate things. Only when they have blended into one substance may they be added to the vessel. Pour in the sanctified liquid, any that has been blessed in accordance with your belief, for belief itself is the current that carries this forward. Holy water, consecrated wine, a cup raised in faith beneath a full moon. It does not matter what name you give it, because intent is everything. When completed, the draught in the chalice will taste like grief remembered. This is the last moment at which you may step away untouched. Beyond this point, your name is known. If you choose to continue, look into your own haunted eyes in the glass and say, "My suffering is more than I can bear. I beseech you to hear my cries and grant me succor." Drink only enough to bind the words to you. At this point, the glass will bloom with a pale, uncertain mist. You should no longer see yourself, the circle, the candles. If the mirror remains unchanged, the ritual has refused you. Erase your presence, offer respect, and turn away. Wait 3 nights before you dare to be hurt again. Use those nights to consider what you failed to understand. But if the glass turns pale and clouded, if your reflection fades like a breath on winter air, then you will confess your pain. Not a spell, not a chant, a confession. Name your wound. Tell the truth. Leave it bare. The avatar has no patience for ornament. When the last word has left you, you will name what you offer in return. Finish the draft, and when the mirror clears, you will not be alone. First, you'll notice the shape. A figure stands where your reflection should be, perfectly still, as if the world has forgotten to animate him. He is shaped like a man only because your mind needs him to be. If you search for details, your mind insists they are there. Eyes, a mouth, the familiar lines of a face. But if your glance is fleeting and hesitant, you will see nothing except eyes and blankness. He is made of absence, of shadows that forgot how to cling to walls. If he turns his head, the movement is slow, deliberate, like the lifting of a blade that has already been swung 1,000 times. There is no malice in him, no joy, no anger, just purpose, a cold and perfect purpose. His eyes, if you can call them that, are pits of mirrored darkness. They shine like oil on deep water, reflecting back every memory you have ever tried to bury. When you meet that gaze, you don't see him. You see your pain. You see the night everything broke, the voice on the phone, the empty bed, the silence afterwards. He wears that silence like a cloak. His presence is heavy, not loud, never loud, but dense. The air thickens like a storm holding its breath. Candles lean toward him as if gravity has made a different choice. Your bones feel suddenly hollow, like bird bones, as though they were never meant to hold up a person at all. When he finally speaks, the sound does not travel through the air. It arrives directly in your skull, bypassing your ears entirely. A voice carved from stone and dark water. Calm. Inevitable. Who? Just that. No sympathy, no reassurance. Because he is not on your side. He is not on their side. He is the side. And in that moment, you understand the truth that every story tries to hide. Vengeance is not a flame. It is a weight. And he is the one who carries it until you choose where to drop it. It is time for that choice. Name where you want that weight to land. and make your offering. He will speak but one more word. Done. And the mirror will shatter, all fragments disappearing like stars winking out. And with that, the ritual is complete. Call your assistant, if any. Clean up if desired. And go home, if able. Cling to the cold joy that your reward occurred immediately. Death has already found those who were the target of small sacrifices, and it lingers around those for whom the sacrifice was greater, waiting until their suffering is sufficient, ignoring how they cry out for an end. Death will come in its own time, and it will not be rushed. If the ultimate gift was given, those targeted have disappeared, no longer a part of our world. No trace of them will ever be found, for they are in the realm of the Avatar, and in his realm, vengeance requires time. Those who deserve it are slowly ground into dust, very, very slowly, each agonizing moment an unyielding torment. You, though, you will breathe easier. You will swear the world feels lighter. When the candles are nothing but stains on the air, you may try to go back to your life. Some do, for a while. But vengeance leaves fingerprints. It lingers in empty rooms, in reflective glass, in the quiet moments before sleep. And every so often, you will feel it again. That weight settling behind you like a second shadow. Not hostile, not kind, simply present. A reminder that the Avatar, once invited, never truly leaves. He only waits for the next time, the next name you dare to speak. Vengeance is sweet at first, but it leaves a bitter aftertaste, and once you've tasted it, you will crave it again. Perhaps in your quieter moments, you will realize what you have become. A door. And once a door has been opened, it never forgets how to let something through. And doors, like mirrors, remember what has stood before them.